What if the love you thought was gone finds a way back into your life when you least expect it? Season 19 of Heartland doesn't just open a new chapter, it reopens an old wound, one that Amy thought had finally healed. But now, the past is knocking again. And this time, it's not just memories. It's a truth that could change everything she believes about Ty, about herself, and about what comes next. The beginning of Season 19 doesn't waste time with slow introductions. It dives straight into emotional tension. Amy Fleming, after years of rebuilding her life following Ty's tragic departure, seems to have finally found some peace. Her connection with nature, her bond with Lindy, and the quiet strength she has developed all hint at a woman who's moved forward. But there's a heaviness in the air, something unspoken, something unresolved. It becomes clear early on that while Amy has moved on in routine, her heart still echoes with unanswered questions. This season's opening doesn't try to erase the past. Instead, it leans into it. Amy's work with horses continues, but there's a noticeable shift in her energy. The vibrant optimism of earlier seasons is replaced with a more introspective, reflective Amy. She's not broken, she's wise. She's not lost, she's searching. And while Nathan has been a comforting presence, fans can feel it. Amy's heart is not fully open to him, not because he's unworthy, but because part of her still belongs to someone she's never truly let go of. What's most intriguing is how the show handles the growing whispers around Ty. It's not dramatic or forced. Instead, it's subtle. A name in a conversation, a memory triggered by an old photograph, a letter found in a box long untouched. These moments aren't just for nostalgia. They're breadcrumbs, carefully laid, pulling both Amy and the audience into something deeper. There's a mystery unfolding, and it isn't about whether Ty is coming back. It's about whether Amy is finally ready to face what he left behind, and what he might have never said. Heartland has always been about healing, but Season 19 adds something new. The idea that healing doesn't mean forgetting. As Amy begins to uncover truths she wasn't prepared to face, her world slowly begins to shift. Jack, always the quiet pillar of strength, notices it. Lou senses it too, though she's too busy managing her own challenges to fully address it. Even Lindy starts asking questions only Amy can answer, but ones that force her to look inward like never before. Then there's the land itself, Heartland Ranch. So much has happened here, and it seems to hold memories like the soil holds roots. As Amy spends more time alone in the fields or the barn, there's a stillness that surrounds her, and in that stillness, the past speaks. Ty may be gone, but Season 19 suggests that his presence isn't finished. Not in spirit, and maybe not even in story. The question burning through every scene is simple, yet powerful. What if you never truly understood someone you loved? What if there was more to their story than they ever had time to tell? And what if that story is about to change everything you thought you knew? Let me know when you're ready for Section 2, 3,500 characters, and I'll continue with the same suspenseful and emotional tone. As the days pass at Heartland Ranch, something begins to stir beneath the surface. Not just in the land, but in Amy's heart. She's caught in moments of silence more often now, moments where her gaze lingers too long on the horizon, or her hands rest on a saddle with more thought than action. She's dreaming of Ty again, but these aren't just wistful dreams or comforting flashbacks. No, these dreams feel different, clearer, more real, almost like messages. The shift becomes more noticeable when Amy stumbles upon something unexpected in one of Ty's old notebooks. A scribbled note in the margin, dated just weeks before his death. It's brief and unfinished, but what it implies stops her cold. Ask Clint about the clinic in Montana. Something's not right. Amy can't shake it. Why would Ty have written this down and never mentioned it? What clinic? And what was wrong? At first, she tries to dismiss it. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just another one of Ty's many concerns from his days working with troubled youth. But deep down, Amy knows better. She knows Ty. He was never careless with his words, and if something worried him enough to jot it down, it wasn't a passing thought. It was something he planned to act on, something he never got the chance to finish. This small mystery slowly begins to consume her thoughts. Amy starts revisiting places Ty used to go, retracing his steps, and asking quiet questions. Jack notices the change and the long rides alone, the sleepless nights. He doesn't push her, but one evening he gently says, "Some things aren't meant to stay buried, Amy. If your heart's leading you somewhere, don't be afraid to follow it." And with that, Amy realizes she can't ignore this feeling anymore. Meanwhile, Lindy's curiosity is growing. She finds the notebook in Amy's room and asks about it. Amy, caught off guard, finds herself telling her daughter more about Ty than she has in a long time. Not just the good memories, but the complexities, the things left unsaid. This honesty sparks a connection between them that feels new, even after all they've shared. Lindy's innocent questions somehow hit the deepest places in Amy's heart. "Do you think Daddy wanted to tell you something?" And, "What if he's still helping us, just in a different way?" Amy begins to research the Montana clinic Ty mentioned. What she finds surprises her. The facility is still active, but it's undergone several ownership changes over the years, some of which raise more questions than answers. When she calls Clint, his voice tightens at the mention of the place. He says he remembers Ty asking questions, but the details are hazy. "He was worried about something," Clint says. "But before he could tell me more, everything happened." This revelation shakes Amy to her core. Could Ty have uncovered something serious, before his death? And if so, what was he trying to protect them from? Lou, ever the practical sister, urges caution. She fears Amy is chasing ghosts. "You've worked so hard to heal," Lou says. "Don't lose yourself again in the past." But Amy can't stop now. Not when everything inside her says this matters. Not when every step forward feels like she's being pulled towards something bigger. Even Nathan, who's been quietly supportive, begins to feel the distance grow between them. He sees Amy slipping into old wounds, chasing shadows of a man she still loves, and he's torn. He wants to be there for her, but how can he compete with a memory that refuses to fade? His presence, once comforting, now feels like a reminder of what Amy can't seem to let go of. And Amy feels it too. The weight of trying to move forward while being pulled backward by unfinished emotions. As the premiere episode reaches its midpoint, one thing becomes painfully clear. Ty's story isn't over, and neither is Amy's. The note, the dreams, the lingering sense that something important was left unsaid, it all points to a deeper truth. A truth that could reshape everything Amy thought she knew. A truth that might finally give her the closure she never received, or open a door she never expected. But as she edges closer to the answers, she also risks uncovering a reality that could change not just her life, but the lives of everyone she loves. Amy's world begins to shift in ways she hadn't prepared for. What started as a quiet curiosity has grown into a storm she can't control. Every step she takes toward the truth about Ty brings more questions, and a deeper ache in her heart. The mystery surrounding the Montana clinic is no longer just about an old notebook. It's about understanding the final pieces of Ty's life, the part he never got to share. And Amy can feel it now, stronger than ever. There was something Ty was protecting her from. The more she digs, the more resistance she faces. The clinic's staff offers vague answers. Phone calls are dodged. Files are mysteriously unavailable. Amy even travels to Montana, hoping to find someone who remembers Ty's visit. There, she meets an old veterinarian who worked part-time with the clinic back then. He doesn't recall Ty by name, but when Amy shows him a photo, something clicks. "He asked about animal treatment trials," the man says. "Said he was worried they were being used without proper oversight." This piece of information hits Amy like a wave. Ty wasn't just concerned about people. He might have stumbled upon something bigger, something unethical, but what hurts the most is the realization that he faced all of this alone without burdening her, without sharing the fear he must have felt. That was who Ty was, protective to the very end. And now, Amy must carry the weight of what he left behind. Back at Heartland, things begin to change. Jack grows quieter, sensing Amy's emotional exhaustion. Lou becomes more vocal, worried that her sister is slipping into obsession. Nathan, unsure of his place in Amy's life, begins to pull away. Even Lindy starts to feel the tension. She asks Amy one night, "Do you miss Daddy more now than before?" And Amy, holding back tears, simply nods. Because it's true. The more she learns, the more she grieves all over again. Not just for Ty, but for the life they could have had if things had been different. But amidst the pain, something else begins to bloom. Strength. Resolve. A deeper understanding of who Ty was and who Amy is becoming. This journey isn't about reopening old wounds. It's about healing them the right way. For years, Amy has carried the weight of Ty's death in silence. Now she's finally speaking to it, listening to it, learning from it. And in doing so, she's finding her voice again. The turning point comes when Amy receives a package from an anonymous sender. Inside is a USB drive. On it, a video recorded by Ty just days before his passing. The footage is shaky, unpolished, but his voice is clear. He speaks directly to Amy, telling her about the clinic, his concerns, and how he didn't want to worry her until he had proof. But then he says something that stops her breath. If you're watching this, I didn't get the chance to finish what I started, but I know you, and I know you'll finish it for me. You always did have the stronger heart. Amy watches the video again and again, not just because of what Ty says, but because of the way he says it, the love in his eyes, the calm in his voice. It's as if for a moment he's alive again. And with that, the storm inside her finally breaks. The tears come, but they're not just of grief, they're of release. She realizes now that moving on doesn't mean letting go. It means carrying forward. And season 19, more than anything, is about that journey. The delicate, painful, beautiful process of turning memories into strength, love into action, and heartbreak into hope. In the final moments of the premiere, Amy returns to Heartland with a quiet fire in her eyes. She's no longer just a grieving widow. She's a woman on a mission to honor Ty's memory, to finish what he started, and to step into the next chapter of her life with purpose. Not to forget him, but to finally understand him. And as the sun sets behind the Rockies, casting a golden light over the ranch, one truth stands tall. Amy's story isn't over. Neither is Ty's. And together, even from separate worlds, their love is taking a new turn. One that no one saw coming. Sometimes love doesn't end. It just changes shape. It lingers in old notebooks, in quiet fields, in the soft voice of a daughter asking about her father. It finds its way into dreams, into unspoken questions, into the silence between one heartbeat and the next. That's what Amy learns in season 19, that healing isn't a straight path. It's messy, painful, beautiful, and necessary. Ty may be gone, but his love, his strength, his heart lives on in Amy, in Lindy, and in everything they do. And now, for the first time in years, Amy isn't just surviving. She's listening. She's following the trail he left, not because she's stuck in the past, but because she knows now that understanding his truth is the only way to fully step into her future. Heartland has always been more than a show. It's been a reminder that family is everything, that love doesn't disappear, and that even in loss, we can find the courage to grow. Season 19 isn't just about answers. It's about connection, about honoring the ones we've lost by living fully, by choosing to keep our hearts open even when they've been broken. As the wind moves through the trees, as horses run across open fields, and as the sun rises on a new day at the ranch, we are reminded that life goes on, not by forgetting, but by remembering in a new way. Ty's story isn't finished. Amy's journey isn't complete. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest love stories are the ones that keep unfolding long after goodbye. So as season 19 begins, ask yourself, what would you do if love gave you one more chance, not to hold on, but to understand? Because sometimes the most powerful endings are the ones that quietly lead to a new beginning.